Hey guys, welcome to my first tutorial. This is also my first tutorial ever, so I hope you're gonna enjoy it. So today I'm gonna talk about how to import a rigged animated and textured character from Blender into Project Anarchy. So what you have to know about me and those tutorials is that I'm basically learning Project Anarchy at the same time. They should be pretty good. I spend a lot of time documenting myself and knowing what I'm doing. But if you have any suggestion or if I make anything wrong, feel free to leave a comment, and it will be my pleasure to read it and make all the changes that you suggest me to do. So yeah, let's jump right into it. So this is my character. Very simple one. His name is Cube Boy, and it has a couple of animations. So it can say hi. It can jump as well. And it has an idle stay where it pretty much does nothing. So yeah, it's really simple. I did everything in a couple of minutes just for the sake of having a subject for my experiments with Project Anarchy and for you guys hopefully. So yeah, I'm basically going to walk you through the whole process of importing your character from Blender into Project Anarchy. What you have to know is that on the opposite of Maya and 3ds Max, Blender doesn't have this embedded character exporter or model exporter or a static mesh exporter to Project Anarchy. It basically has to go through the process of creating an FBX file, and after this file has to be imported from Project Anarchy and transformed so that it basically has all its data that it needs. Basically, when you transform the FBX file in Project Anarchy, you generate. So what do you generate? You can generate character animations. You can generate a character asset. You can also generate a model, and you can also generate static mesh. The difference between model and static mesh is that basically model are objects that you can move in your scene, and static mesh are objects that you're not going to move in your scene. So yeah, that's basically it. Hope you're going to enjoy this tutorial. Alright, so before we jump into Blender, you guys will need to download the Havok Content Tool, which is basically needed to extract your vision model, your mesh, or character animation from your FBX file. And you need Havok Animation Studio, HAS, sorry. So you can download it on the Project Anarchy page, and basically just click on download now and select so here you should have a download manager, so if you don't already have it, just download it. And yeah, there is one version for Mac, but it's only for deploying your game and not for building it basically. So yeah, you definitely need the Windows version. So once you downloaded it, you guys should have a Havok download manager, and so agree to the ULA. And so I assume you guys already installed the Project Anarchy core, and you basically need to go into Advanced Setup, and here you're going to be able to find so this one you already downloaded, and here you're going to find the Havok Animation Studio. So select it, and Havok Content Tool, so either 32-bit or 64-bit depending on your platform. So for me it's 64-bit, so I just select it, then you press next and you can install it. So as you might guess, I already have it, so I'm just gonna quit this. And alright, so yeah, to import our FBX, we're gonna go through the VForge interface, and basically, if you don't know, VForge is a software that you need for basically building your scenes of your game, and you can also import your FBX. So I'm gonna create a new project. Let me just check something first, just real quick. Yeah, so I'll create a new project. So these are like the option of a folder you can create. So here we need a model, since our character is going to be a moving mesh, if I can say. And meshes is basically for static mesh. So the one that you're not going to move or not do anything, they're not going to change. So scene, obviously, and the texture. So we select those ones, and yeah, you need to put the location. So here I'm just going to put Havok tutorial. There you go. So I'm just going to make a new folder, call it tutorial 1. And click OK. So use project directory. This is so that all your files are referenced locally. So just, alright. And now let's create a scene. We just need a basic scene. Alright. Create it. Yeah, I could have set the name. So its name is just gonna be name because I didn't type anything. And just select simple render because we're not gonna go into detail about it. And click OK. So right, so now you should have created a scene. So just go in your folder, click here in Show Explorer to show you the real folder into Windows Explorer. And so as you can see, there is a model and scenes folder created. Texture one is missing. I don't know, it's really strange, it doesn't create it, but it's not a big deal. I mean, you can create it if you want. But alright, so here in the model, this is where we're gonna put our asset. So I'm just going to create a new folder, and basically what I like to do is putting my assets in a separated folder so that we are all well organized. I mean, it's up to you guys. So I'm just going to create this QBoy asset. There you go. And here we're going to put our FBX. So let's just do it the basic way so that you guys see how to do it, but I really recommend you guys watch the tutorial until the end, since there are a couple of things to know. And I'm just gonna do like the naive way so that you see like all the problems that we're gonna run through if you export it in this way, I mean without any specific settings. So here in Blender I have my my little character that I already showed you. So it has its skeleton and its textures, and it's basically on my desktop, so it's in a folder in my desktop. You can see it, desktop QBoy.blend. So definitely not in the Project Anarchy project folder. So I'm just gonna export it as an FBX, and just gonna select the basic options so that you guys see what's gonna happen. So my documents, Havok tutorial 1, and yeah, so we're gonna put it in model, QBoy asset, and alright, so let's just export it here. So as you can see, if we go back to QBoy asset, here you can see it. So yeah, okay, so let's just try to export it. If we have the FBX, everything should run fine, right? So let's just do it. So as you can see now, this is, by the way, in the asset browser, which enables you to browse through your assets, basically. And here you can select like the option of some filters you can put, and here you select the folder that you want to see. if I create all libraries, it's gonna put like all those folders that are open here. So just select the tutorial one, and there is only one file, which is cuboid.fbx. Our scene is there, but it's not displayed. So yeah, so how to transform your asset? Just go here, double click, or just go into show properties. So I basically double click, and here is what you should do. So here you have the FBX part, and here you should put multiple outputs. Alright, why multiple outputs? Because basically we're gonna export the character animations and the character itself and the character model, a character asset and the character model. So I'm gonna go deeper into details, but okay. So here you can see in info it says transform required. This is because you need to update the transformation. So just click here, update it successfully. Okay, so it didn't change anything, so this might happen. It's a small bug, I guess. So if you run into this problem, just close this and basically just reopen your project. I mean, that's what I recommend. If you guys find a cleaner way, I'm totally good with it, and please let me know. So just reopen the project. Select our scene, so name that scene. Sorry, I didn't put any name. And tutorial folder. So here we have our FBX thing. So yeah, double click. Let's do our same options. So here you can see, sorry. So none is basically doing nothing, and just type multiple outputs. Transform required as before, update transform, boom. Alright, it worked. So this one is basically, so there are a couple of fields, and each field is relative to some specific file that you're going to create from the FBX. First one is supposed to be the model. But we're just gonna leave it to none, since we can export it at the same time as the character. So second one should be the character. So here we're gonna put character asset, and we're gonna change the setting. So remember I told you guys to download Havok Content Tool? This is where it's needed. Havok Content Tool is used to produce your files, as I said. So here just go in process vision data, which is basically to create your model object, because you can basically at the same time you create your character asset, which is a specific file, you can as well create your model file. So here you see that you have to put the file name to export. So just click here because you need to put some details. So here cuboid asset, and you need to put some name. So I'm just going to call it cuboid that model. Don't forget the extension, it's really important because you have multiple extensions that you can put. Just save, close it, save your changes. Oops, just reopen it. Alright, so we have our character asset, and then here you see, you should better see, but this is all the animation that you previously created. You can see a cuboid high. The name of my animation in Blender is high, so it got it from here. And so basically here just select character animation. The other one is cuboid jump, so character animation, and the last one is cuboid at neutral, so as well character animation. Normally you should see the name entirely, but I don't know, there's some designing issue there because you can see the entire name and I don't know how to fix that. So just click update transformation and it's going to generate all the files that I told you. Alright, so we click and you can see it created a bunch of files. So there you have the default text is basically your character asset. These ones are your basic animations, and this one is your model. But there are some stuff that are pretty wrong there. So let's just open the folder, go in model, Cubeboy asset, and let's open our Cubeboy asset. This is a vision model, so the dot model here, and we're gonna open it with the model viewer, and you can see there are a couple of things that are wrong. First thing is orientation. Obviously, the orientation is really bad. It should be yeah, so in Blender, you know, it's in a good direction, and here up, and here it's definitely not the same. So this is basically due because of Blender coordinate system being different, I guess, from the Havok coordinate system. I don't know which one, either Vision or Model Viewer. I think they all have the same coordinate system. And the second one is obviously a texture. There's no texture with our model. Sorry. So how to fix those issues? Let's see. So there are a couple of things I recommend you guys to do. First thing is basically keep your things local. So if you have your Blender project, sorry. So if you have your Blender project, you should put it into the Havok project, so that you have all your data gathered in the same folder, which is better for organizing yourself as well, and makes quite a lot of sense. So here in our model thing, Cubeboy asset, so let's just create a folder, and we're gonna name it Cubeboy Blender, and here you're gonna put your Blender file. So I say mine is on desktop, so sorry, how did I name it? I don't remember. Yeah, Cubeboy Blender. So yeah, one thing before that, in Blender, if you want to keep the texture, and you know, like if I move my Blender folder right now, it will lose the texture path, because simply because the texture path by default in Blender is set to absolute. And what absolute makes is that it really uses like the precise global path of your folder. I mean, of your texture, obviously. So it's gonna be in C, then user, desktop, Cubeboy folder, and then here you have your texture. So one first fix you have to do is make all path relative. By doing this, Blender is gonna refer to all its assets, I guess, so its texture and any other file that you use, relative to where your Blender file is. So just click on this, save it, and you should be good. So now what you can do is just drag this. So as you can see, I made a texture folder where I put this texture. So let's just move this into our project. So project folder, so tutorial 1, model, and remember I created the Cuboid Blender folder, paste it here. So I'm just gonna close it, and if I reopen it, everything works fine. You have a texture because the texture referred into, so for Blender it knows that the texture is in the texture folder, which is relative to where my Blender file is, so I don't have any problem referencing the texture. So that's the first thing. And also, now that we have our Blender project into our Havok Vision folder, you can now, Havok is gonna have easy access to all your texture folder and everything, because now it's also in its I'll say local path, right? So so now you shouldn't have any issue with the texture. So now I'm just gonna re-export my FBX here, export FBX, and now let's go back into Vision, and you can see it's automatically updated because you can set it here. You see auto asset update disable, and if you press here, you're gonna have all assets are up to date, so it's gonna automatically synchronize your assets, I guess. And here you can see that our model has its texture, so if I go here, select Cuboid, and we have our nice texture. Alright, so now we need to fix the orientation, because here if I make the skeleton appear, so you can click here to render the bones, you can see that the skeleton is on the good orientation, but the character is on the wrong one. So how come that happened? I guess this is the way Project Anarchy reads the FBX, and I think it's also mainly because of the problem of an FBX, because I think Unity has the same orientation problem, but doesn't have a problem with a skeleton, because here the skeleton, you can see it has a good rotation, but not the character. So let's try to fix this. So our Blender folder, and the quick fix that I found is basically this. So you have go on your side view and basically rotate the character by enter 90 degrees, press enter, and apply the transforms so that it's really implied and the FBX is gonna have it, because by default I think when you export an FBX, it automatically removes the transformation from your model. Okay, so you might think that this should fix the problem, so let's see what happens. Alright, so I go back here, re-export the FBX, and let's see what happened. Alright, so what we can see now is that the character has a good orientation, but not the skeleton anymore. And so I found a fix for this. So basically when you export your FBX, by the way, I didn't mention, but when you export your FBX, this is the way you should do it. If you have multiple objects inside Blender, you might want only to select the object that you want to export, then go into export into an FBX, and here select selected object, so that only selected objects are going to be exported in FBX. And the important thing is that you have to select the model and not the armature, because the armature is included with the model. Here you can see that armature is included, and also you include the animation and all actions. This is done by default. And the fix is basically that here in the orientation you have to put I think Y forward and Z up. So you basically change your world coordinate system, I guess, and just export a cuboid. And this is basically gonna realign the armature into the same coordinate system as the object itself. So export the FBX, and if I did everything correctly, now you can see that you have your cuboid asset, which is aligned with the skeleton and with the texture. Alright, so you guys should remember that I told you to install Havok Animation Tool. So this one is actually needed to organize and construct animation blend trees and state machines. So if you don't know what those two last concepts are, it's basically really basic game design concepts, and I'll encourage you to go and read docs about it. But basically, state machine is you have a couple of states, right? So you have, for example, a idle state, and for example, a jump state, right? So on the idle state, your character is going to behave in a certain way. So basically, it's going to play idle animation, and it's going to do nothing. And so you're going to make a transition to the jump state. For example, if the player press space or any key that is going to trigger the jump action, and so when you're going to go into the jump state, you're going to need to play the animation, jumping animation, and your character is going to jump, so you're going to apply force for it to you know, like, jump, and yeah, and after it's going to land, so you can have a land state, and then after you can have a running state, and you can make all those sorts of transitions. So yeah, definitely dive into what this is into more detail, because it's really important and pretty nice to know. So yeah, I'm just gonna open the Havok Animation Tool. Okay. Animation Tool. Oh, just closing the viewer. I don't need it. Yeah. So yeah, also the Havok Animation Tool. Here you're gonna build your interactive character inside there. So this is where you're gonna code its behaviors, and also build you know, its states and animations things. So you can do pretty complex behaviors inside this tool, and after re-export it into the VForge, which is the actual place where you build your own game. So you put all your assets, but since you already built your character inside the Havok Animation Tool, then you just drag it here, and it should behave all nice in its environment in the scene that you built. So it's definitely important to use a Havok Animation Tool to have a nice game. So I'm just going to create a new project, and I'm going to be our new character. So really I encourage you to, and you need to create this folder inside the actual folder where you have your all VForge project. So for me it's in documents, and then you put it inside Havok tutorial 1, and into the model, and in the cuboid asset, which is pretty nice because you're gonna put all your information inside this folder, and it contains all the Blender and FBX and all the character asset, everything that you need inside this folder. So this is why I really encourage you guys to do the same. And yeah, so we're gonna create a subfolder here. So we're gonna name it, for example, cuboid hat for Havok Animation Tool, and let's just create it. So if we go inside our cuboid asset, you can see that now we have a cuboid hat thing, and here we're gonna put our character asset that we created inside this folder and our animations inside this folder. Pretty straightforward, right? So I just put my animation, the HTK format, up, then put it here, and I take my default take, which I told you is a character asset. You can see it's heavier than the other one. This one is 377 kilobyte, sorry, and the other ones are you see 115, 54, 103, pretty much lighter because it only contains animation from the bone and not the entire character, because here we have the entire character and its skeleton. So if you go back here, just refresh the character asset folder, press yes, you want to refresh it, and refresh the animations. So here you can see all our animations are there, nice format, and here our cuboid asset. So yeah, basically here if you didn't see the right window, here I was in the asset view, and here we're going to be in the character view. So here I'm going to create a new character. So I'm going to name it cuboid character, and inside the character folder. And the nice thing here, since you already put the file that you needed for the skeleton, you can put cuboid default take, and it finds that it has skins, which is true. So just press yes because we want to use it, and this is it. So here we can see our character is there, and you can make it smaller, basically going into I think it's a properties, sorry, let me find it, yeah, here in the cuboid character, that HKC, go into properties, and here you can adjust size. I'll put it to 0.1, way better, and let's also put it up a bit more. Right, come on boy, you can do it. Oops, sorry. Up. Alright, nice and sweet, and we have our character. Amazing. And go back into asset, and you can play the animation from here. So you can see our neutral state is here, basically doing nothing. Jump state and high. So yeah, we made it. And you can also show the skeleton. Oops, why isn't it putting the skeleton? What if I refresh the character asset? Yeah, I just refreshed it, so now I can see the skeleton. So let's try to make him say hi. And you can see, we can see the so I just noticed that some skeletons were not displayed. This is kind of strange, because there they should be the foot, and foot here, left foot, right foot, and also the bone, like the last bone of the head, and also there should be the, you know, the extremity of the hand. So I don't know what's happening. It seems that it's happening for all the the extremity bones. I don't think it's a real problem, but if it comes out it's a problem, then I'm gonna make a new video and explain maybe a better process, because I think my the process of exporting a character was pretty much right. So I mean, it's here and it's animating. So yeah, pretty good. Character is there, and so this is what I think here. So here is basically, as I understood, the part where you can put your states. So here, sorry, you don't see it. Okay, doesn't mind. You guys are gonna see it. But basically, you have couples of options, and here, especially the state thing. So you can create a state machine and put your animation and code your behaviors. I guess from scripts. Here you can do your scripting to make the code your transitions, or I mean, I think the transition are made in the graph view, but how your character behaves, mostly done between those two windows. So I didn't dive into it yet. As I said, I'm learning it. So I might do a tutorial later. And I also noticed that the scripts were supposed to be made with Lua, so I really hope there is an option with C++ because I'm more of a C++ coder. But if there is a Lua, yeah, I'm gonna go for Lua. Yeah, so basically that's it. You have your character, and so from here you're gonna code all your behavior, because you see there is a behavior file. What's happening? Yeah, there is a behavior file, and with a state machine and everything. You see gameplay configs and everything. So this is where you have to do all your character parts, and after you can put it into VForge. Simply drag and drop it, and yeah, I think this interface is pretty nice because yeah, you can basically just focus on your character and its behaviors, and after you can export this character and all its behavior into your game and run it into VForge, where you can actually build your game. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely make a tutorial, but I hope you guys are gonna like this one, and yeah, if I get good reviews from you guys, then there's no reason why I shouldn't make another tutorial. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial, and if you liked it, please put a like and subscribe and whatever. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one.